First contact gone wrong. The Meridian Council's flagship emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system, its crystalline surface refracting sunlight in patterns that would have mesmerized human astronomers, had they been able to see it. The ship's advanced cloaking technology ensured their approach would go unnoticed, or so they thought. Ambassador Xerex stood on the bridge, his iridescent scales shifting colors with anticipation. After centuries of debate, the Meridian Council had finally decided to make official contact with Earth. Their surveillance had shown humans advancing at an unprecedented rate, and the Council believed it was time to guide this young species into the galactic community. Final approach vector calculated, announced First Navigator Tella, her multifaceted eyes processing multiple streams of data simultaneously. Earth's defensive systems remained dormant. Xerex nodded, though something about that last statement bothered him. According to their intelligence, Earth shouldn't have any significant defensive systems to speak of. They were, after all, a pre-FTL civilization. Begin diplomatic protocols, Xerex commanded. Prepare the holoprojectors for our first message to humanity. The ship glided past Mars, its sensors gathering data about human activity on the Red Planet. The scattered research stations and small colonies were exactly where their intelligence suggested they would be. Everything was proceeding according to plan. Until it wasn't. Ambassador Tella's voice carried an edge of panic. Multiple signatures appearing around us. They weren't there a second ago. Before Xerex could respond, dozens of small objects materialized around their ship. Each one was barely the size of a shuttle, but their sudden appearance had rendered the Council's most advanced cloaking technology useless. Impossible, whispered Chief Technician Vorn. Our cloaking system is being actively suppressed. These devices, they're creating some kind of localized field that's forcing us into normal space. A communication request pinged their systems. The humans had known they were coming all along. The message was audio only, transmitted on all frequencies simultaneously. Meridian vessel, you have entered restricted space without authorization. Your cloaked approach is considered an act of aggression under the Jupiter Accords. Power down your systems immediately. Xerex felt his scales pale to a ghostly white. This wasn't how first contact was supposed to go. Surely there's been a mistake, he transmitted back. We come in peace, representing the Meridian Council. We are aware of your identity. The human voice interrupted. Your vessel has been under observation since it entered the Orc cloud. Power down your systems now. The small devices around them began emitting a strange energy signature. The flagship's systems started failing one by one. Ambassador, Tella reported, her voice shaking. They're not using any technology we understand. Our databases have no reference for these energy patterns. Xerex realized with growing horror that they had catastrophically miscalculated. The humans hadn't just been advancing, they had been deliberately hiding their true capabilities. Power down all systems, he ordered, his voice heavy with defeat. Send an emergency burst transmission to the Council. Message reads, First contact protocol failed. Earth possesses superior technology. Request immediate diplomatic intervention. As their systems went dark, Xerex watched the Earth grow larger in their viewport. The blue planet seemed to mock them with its peaceful appearance, hiding secrets that would soon shake the foundations of galactic society. A new message came through their emergency backup systems. Representatives from Earth's Unified Defense Command will board your vessel shortly. Prepare to explain why you thought it appropriate to approach our home while cloaked, Ambassador Xerex. We have much to discuss about the Meridian Council's intentions. In that moment, Xerex understood why so many exploration fleets had gone missing near Earth's space over the centuries. They hadn't disappeared due to natural phenomena or technical failures. They had encountered something far more formidable, a humanity that had learned to hide its true nature from the stars themselves. The silent response. The Meridian Council's emergency session erupted into chaos when Ambassador Xerex's message arrived. The vast chamber, normally a model of decorum, descended into heated arguments and accusations. High Counselor Venna, her crystalline form pulsing with agitation, called for order. The humans not only detected our flagship through our most advanced cloaking technology, she announced, but they neutralized its systems using technology we cannot comprehend. This changes everything. The assembled representatives fell silent. For centuries, the Council had classified Earth as a developing world, interesting but ultimately unthreatening. That illusion had been shattered in a single encounter. Surely they will demand reparations, spoke Representative Krall of the Centaurian Alliance. Their detection of our cloaked approach gives them diplomatic leverage. We must prepare for their demands. But Earth remained silent. Days passed, then weeks. The humans had released the Meridian flagship after a brief inspection, with a simple warning not to enter their space uninvited again. No demands, no threats, no diplomatic outreach. They're playing with us, insisted War Chief Mox of the Regelian Empire. This silence is a form of psychological warfare. High Counselor Venna wasn't so sure. She had reviewed the reports from Ambassador Zirex countless times. The humans had been professional, efficient, and most surprisingly, unsurprised. They had treated the incident as routine. Consider what this implies. Venna addressed the Council. They knew about us long before we approached. They've likely observed our civilizations for years, perhaps decades, and they chose to remain hidden. But why? The question came from multiple representatives simultaneously. The answer came 3 months later, and not from Earth. A Drachnid mining fleet at the edge of explored space encountered a gravitational anomaly that threatened to tear their ships apart. As they prepared to abandon their vessels, a human ship appeared from nowhere. The footage spread quickly through the Council. A vessel of unfamiliar design, sleek yet utilitarian, approached the Drachnid fleet. It emitted an energy field that stabilized the anomaly, saving the miners. Before departing, they transmitted a single message. Be more careful in this sector. Gravitational eddies are common here. Safe travels. Similar reports began flooding in from across the galaxy. Human ships appearing to assist stranded vessels, neutralizing space pirates, even warning ships away from uncharted navigation hazards. Always appearing when needed, then vanishing without seeking recognition or reward. In the Council chamber, Venna watched the reports accumulate with growing understanding. We approached Earth expecting to find students in need of teachers, she said softly. Instead, we found guardians who have been watching over us all along. The revelation sparked a new wave of debate. Some representatives argued for aggressive information gathering about Earth's capabilities. Others advocated for formal diplomatic relations. A few even suggested preparing for possible human aggression. But High Counselor Venna had begun to understand humanity's message. Their silence wasn't a threat or a diplomatic ploy. It was a lesson in humility and responsibility. The humans had developed their technology not for dominance, but for protection, not just of themselves, but of all spacefaring species. Perhaps, Venna addressed the Council, we should stop trying to decide what to do about Earth, and instead ask ourselves why they chose to remain hidden. What does it say about us that they felt the need to conceal their true capabilities? The question hung in the air, uncomfortable but impossible to ignore. The humans' silent response to the Council's failed first contact was proving more eloquent than any diplomatic speech could have been. The technological leap. The first clue came from an unlikely source. A routine maintenance scan of the Meridian flagship, 3 months after its encounter with Earth, revealed something extraordinary. The human inspection teams had left behind no monitoring devices, no trackers. Instead, they had fixed several critical flaws in the ship's quantum drive. Chief Engineer Ralla of the Meridian Science Division couldn't believe the data at first. These modifications, she explained to the hastily assembled Council, they're not just repairs. They're improvements we never even conceived of. The efficiency increase is remarkable. The Council chamber's holographic displays showed the changes, subtle alterations to the drive's quantum matrix, elegant solutions to problems that had plagued their engineers for generations. But what truly stunned them was the simplicity of it all. "This isn't advanced technology," Rella continued, her voice trembling with excitement. "It's perfect technology. They found solutions so fundamental that we missed them entirely in our pursuit of complexity." More revelations followed. The Arcturian Defense Fleet discovered that their impenetrable encryption systems had been quietly strengthened months ago, protecting them from an imminent cyber attack. The Proximan Medical Corps found their neural regeneration research had been subtly guided toward a breakthrough that saved millions. But it was the incident at the Cygnus Black Hole Research Station that finally revealed the full scope of human technological philosophy. When the station's containment fields began to fail, threatening to create a cascading reaction that could have torn apart half the sector, help arrived in an unexpected form. A small human vessel, no larger than a shuttle, appeared beside the station. Instead of advanced containment technology or exotic energy fields, they deployed something the station's scientists first mistook for primitive equipment. Within hours, the crisis was not just averted. It was solved permanently. They used basic physical principles we all knew, Station Director Kelvin reported, still sounding bewildered. But they applied them in ways we never imagined. Their solution wasn't about having better technology. It was about having a better understanding of the fundamental laws of the universe. In the council chamber, High Counselor Venna studied the mounting evidence. The humans hadn't just surpassed the galactic community technologically. They had taken a completely different path. While other species raced to build more powerful devices, more complex systems, humanity had turned inward, seeking deeper understanding rather than raw power. "Consider their response to our cloaking technology," Venna addressed the council. "They didn't develop better cloaking. They developed perfect detection by understanding the fundamental nature of space-time itself. We've been so focused on advancing our technology that we forgot to advance our understanding." The implications were staggering. Every piece of human technology they'd encountered wasn't just advanced. It was refined, elegant, often deceptively simple. They hadn't climbed the same technological ladder as other species. They'd found a different way to ascend entirely. A junior analyst's report caught Venna's attention. Humans had been publishing their scientific discoveries openly in their planetary information networks all along. The plans for their revolutionary technologies weren't hidden. They were available for anyone who understood the underlying principles well enough to recognize their significance. They weren't hiding their advancements, Venna realized. We simply weren't advanced enough to recognize them for what they were. While we sought power through complexity, they achieved it through understanding. As if to emphasize this point, analysis of Earth's public scientific archives revealed something astonishing. Nearly every major technological breakthrough the council races had achieved in the past century had been theoretically described in human scientific literature decades earlier, buried in what seemed like pure theoretical research, waiting for others to make the same cognitive leaps. The human factor. The crisis began with a whisper, a slight fluctuation in the fabric of space-time that most species sensors barely detected. But within days, that whisper became a scream. Across the galaxy, artificial gravity failed. Quantum drives destabilized. Communication networks collapsed. The Meridian Council, gathering in emergency session, faced a threat unlike any in recorded history. The fundamental constants of the universe appeared to be shifting, rendering much of their advanced technology useless. "Our best scientists are helpless," High Counselor Venna announced to the assembled representatives. "Our technology relies too heavily on specific physical constants. As these constants shift, our civilization faces collapse." The council chamber, now lit by primitive chemical lights due to power failures, fell silent. Their mighty empires, built on technological supremacy, were crumbling. That's when the human delegation arrived, uninvited, unexpected, and seemingly unconcerned by the failure of advanced technology around them. Dr. Sarah Chen, the first human to officially address the council, carried no advanced devices. Instead, She brought paper notebooks and hand-drawn diagrams. "You're approaching this problem from the wrong direction," she said, her voice calm but authoritative. "The constants aren't changing. Your assumption that they were constant in the first place was incorrect." She explained how humanity had discovered decades ago that the universe's fundamental constants were actually variables, operating on cycles so vast they seemed fixed within the timescale of most observations. Earth had built its technology with this knowledge in mind, designing systems that could adapt to these cosmic cycles rather than assuming permanence. "Your civilizations built mighty towers on what you thought was bedrock," Dr. Chen explained, sketching diagrams that even the youngest council aide could understand. "We built flexible structures because we knew the ground would shift." The solution she proposed was elegantly simple: a network of human-designed resonance devices that would help alien technology adapt to the changing constants rather than fight against them. But implementing it would require something many species found even more challenging than technological advancement: collaboration. "We can't deploy this alone," Dr. Chen said. "We need every species to participate, using their unique perspectives and capabilities. This isn't just about saving your technology. It's about evolving how we all think about the universe." The Council's response was unprecedented. Ancient enemies worked together, pooling resources and sharing knowledge. Species that had hoarded technological secrets for millennia now collaborated openly. Under human guidance, they began to see the universe not as something to be conquered with technology, but as a dynamic system to be understood and worked with. Over the following weeks, as the resonance network took shape, something remarkable happened. The various species began developing their own insights, finding new ways to adapt their technology to work with the universe's rhythms rather than against them. Humanity hadn't just provided a solution. They had taught a fundamental lesson about the nature of progress itself. The crisis didn't make their technology superior to ours, Ven observed, watching ships from a dozen species working together to deploy the network. It revealed that their way of thinking had been superior all along. They never sought to impose their will upon the universe. They sought to understand and work within its natural flow. A new understanding. 1 year after the Universal Constants crisis, the Meridian Council chamber had changed. Gone were the ostentatious displays of technological supremacy. Instead, the room's design now emphasized harmony with natural principles, a reflection of the profound shift in galactic society. High Counselor Venus stood before the assembled representatives, her crystalline form glowing softly as she addressed the gathered species. "Today marks not just the anniversary of our greatest crisis, but the beginning of our greatest transformation." The holographic displays showed scenes from across the galaxy. Species that once competed now collaborated in vast research networks. Ancient technologies were being reimagined with new understanding. The galactic community had begun to flourish in ways nobody had imagined possible. "We once thought Earth was hiding advanced technology from us," Vena continued. "We now understand they were sharing something far more valuable: wisdom. While we raced to build bigger ships and more powerful weapons, they sought to understand the universe itself." Dr. Chen, now a permanent advisor to the Council, stepped forward. "Humanity never wanted to be your leaders or your saviors," she explained. "We wanted to be your partners. Every species has unique insights, different ways of perceiving the universe. Only by combining these perspectives can we truly advance." The evidence of this philosophy's success was undeniable. The resonance network, initially built to save failing technology, had evolved into something far more significant. It had become a symbol of a new way of thinking, a bridge between species that encouraged cooperation over competition. Technological advancement hadn't slowed, it had transformed. Instead of each species jealously guarding their discoveries, a new model emerged. Inspired by Earth's example, civilizations began sharing their fundamental research openly while collaborating on practical applications. But perhaps the most important lesson Vena addressed the Council was about power itself. Humanity showed us that true power doesn't come from controlling the universe, but from understanding our place within it. The council chamber's new design emphasized this philosophy. The once rigid seating hierarchy had been replaced by a fluid arrangement that encouraged interaction. The walls, once solid, now shifted subtly with the natural energy flows of the galaxy, a constant reminder of the dynamic nature of existence. We used to see the galaxy as a resource to be exploited, a Drachnid representative observed. Now we understand it's a dance to be joined. Dr. Chen smiled at this. That's why we remained hidden for so long, she explained. You needed to be ready not just to accept new technology, but to embrace a new way of thinking. True advancement isn't about having the most powerful tools. It's about having the wisdom to use them well. As the session concluded, Vanna reflected on how far they'd come. The galaxy was no longer divided into advanced and primitive species. Instead, each civilization was recognized for its unique contributions to the collective understanding of the universe. Earth had never sought to conquer or dominate. Instead, they had quietly waited, developed their understanding, and when the moment was right, showed the galaxy a better way forward. They had transformed potential enemies into partners, not through force or fear, but through the simple act of sharing a deeper truth, that the greatest power lies not in bending the universe to our will, but in learning to dance with its natural rhythms. The mystery of Earth that had once terrified the galaxy had become its greatest gift, a lesson in humility, wisdom, and the true meaning of progress. As representatives from 100 worlds filed out of the council chamber, their conversations weren't about weapons or territory or power. They spoke of understanding, of discovery, and of the endless dance of the cosmos that they were all, at last, learning to join.